You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is another episode of the Drew Yari Show. I'm the host, Yari. If you're hearing any noise in the background, it's my fan. It is hot as balls here in Texas. I put that on. If I put it on 1, I'm already sweating. I have it on 3 currently, so we usually put it on. We usually put it on 2. We'll put it on 3 when we're going to sleep. So. But yeah, it is hot as balls here in Texas. It wasn't as hot as it was the past couple weeks. The past couple weeks it was in triple-digit weather. Next week it's supposed to go back to that. Currently it's in the low 90s, which is not bad. And it's also raining, which is it's a combination of that rain where it's like that warm rain that as soon as it's done, it just feels real humid. It's sticky. It has that really sticky feeling that it just feels like it sticks on you. Hence, I said sticky feeling. Yeah, I didn't have a show last week because it just last week was my mom's birthday, so I decided to take the week off for that. And wasn't really anything in wrestling that was interesting last week. There was a whole thing on NXT with Karrion Kross and Keith Lee that they did their best impression of Rocky IV. Where Keith was choking out Donovan Dijakovic right in front of Keith Lee. It was good. Looking back on it, one thing kind of, I wouldn't say ruined it, but it kind of it was the part where Dijakovic is right under the ring stairs, I just call them the ring stairs, steel steps, and then Killer Kross proceeds to bash his head and for a guy who just got his head bashed in between steel steps, he seemed very, responsive. Wasn't no blood on him, which again that's another thing WWE needs to just really go back to. They need to allow blood. I'm not saying gushes of blood like it's a death match. I'm just saying if someone just got their head caved in on steel steps, let there be blood. I mean, come on. So I guess that's me nitpicking, but that was a good bit. AEW wasn't really that eventful last week. You had Sammy Guevara that came back. Other than that, really nothing interesting happened. I mean, you had Eddie Kingston that came in. Eddie Kingston opened the show with just amazing promo. Hold on, trying to get comfortable. Great promo, by the way. I actually got in trouble on Facebook for sharing that promo because AEW decided to block it, even though I appealed it twice and I told them I'm not trying to profit off of it. I'm just sharing it because I like it. And Facebook told me straight up, if you share any copyrighted, it's just anything that's copyrighted by any company, like a music video or a clip from a movie, without their consent, you will get in trouble. As a matter of fact, I will be suspended from Facebook. They let me know that straight up. I will be suspended, even if I appeal. So, and it's not a thing of even let's say I knew Cody Rhodes personally, and I said, "Hey, can I share this? Is it cool?" Even if Cody Rhodes says, no big deal, it's the company. The company has to sign off on it. Because I think I heard Kevin Castle was saying, that they used to have a song on DTKC that would play in the beginning. Now they can't play it because they have the show on YouTube, and YouTube will strike them with a copyright. And it's just, again, it's the company, it's not the band. So I gotta be careful on what I post. I mean, usually from what I've seen, if you post, I don't own the rights to this video, that usually does help. But I guess it depends. So, but yeah, Eddie Kingston went out there. They had a pretty good match, and that ended up being no disqualification for whatever reason. I have a message from Amazon. Give me 1 second. Greetings from Amazon. We placed a hold on your Amazon account and all pending orders. We took action. We took this action. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. I got a random email on my Yahoo, which that's already a red flag, saying something about my Amazon membership that it doesn't match something, or I don't know. Again, I didn't look into it because I usually get those bullshit emails saying, your account's been locked because of blah blah blah, and please click on this to verify who you are, and then it wants your social. Usually when you get emails like that saying, your account's been locked, or your account's been, blah blah blah, we need your social. It's like, well, why do you need my social? Anytime they ask you for your social, it's a fake. It's complete bullshit. But because I have Amazon Prime, and it at the end of the month, at the end of every month, depending, obviously if 31. Also, there's months that end in 30, and then February you get like 27, 28 or whatever. So yeah, that's complete bullshit. I'll have to call them about that tomorrow. But yeah, wrestling last week was pretty uneventful. Wrestling this week was not that bad. Let's see, because you had the Wednesday Night Wars, quote unquote, last night. The shows weren't too bad. Ratings came out this week, and they were pretty close. So now I'm going to pull up the results for AEW if it wants to stop taking its sweet ass time. So, all right, AEW had the first match, which was a 10-man tag match with the Best Friends and Jurassic Express versus Inner Circle. What the fuck? Why can't I talk tonight? Circle, which was Jericho, Hernandez, Ortiz, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager. And then on the other side, you had the Best Friends, which was Orange Cassidy, Trent, Chuck Taylor, and Jurassic Express, which was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, accompanied by Marco Stunt. And we'll get to NXT, but when you look at a lot of the matches, they were very conveniently placed. Because on NXT, the opening match was a tag match. And this match was a tag match. Well, this is a 10-man tag match. But I find it odd, when Triple H was saying, we're not trying to compete with AEW. I'm doing what's best for NXT. I'm not trying to, put on matches that are able to compete with what they're doing. I'm doing what's best, which is good. But I found it very convenient. So I don't know. But yeah, 10-man matches are usually, they are what they are. A lot of this match was done to continue the storyline with Jericho and Orange Cassidy for whatever reason. Orange Cassidy doing his usual shtick. And what happened? And in the end, the Best Friends and Jurassic Express and Cassidy get the win. In this match, there are a lot of high spots done. There's a high spot with Marco Stunt where he takes out, the rest of Inner Circle, which God knows why. And the ending of the match is with Guevara going for his move off the top rope, but Matt Hardy comes out and decides to throw him off. Luchasaurus gets the win for his team. So that continues the feud that was supposed to happen with Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy before Sammy Guevara got suspended. Matt Hardy saying before that he's not doing any more gimmicks. He's not going to be broken. He's not going to be version 1. He's just going to be Matt Hardy, which, in other words, he's still doing a gimmick, but he's just going to be himself. So we'll see how that goes. And the match was what it was. Usually a lot of these, 10-man, 6-man, 7-man, whatever you want to call them, man. They can go either way. They can be very sloptastic, and there's a lot of guys trying to put their shit in. So, I mean, the match was what it was. Luchasaurus, he looked pretty good out there. I want to see what he could do. And then you got Jungle Boy, which he's someone that can benefit from not being a part of this faction. Like he's a guy that needs to do his own thing. And then Marco Stunt, I just kind of wish he would just fall into a wood chipper. So yeah, the TNT Championship match with Cody defending the TNT Championship against Warhorse. Warhorse making his debut on primetime television. This is a guy that they mentioned a while back. Cody and Arn were at a Q&A for AEW. And somebody asked Cody who's next in line for a title shot, or who you want to defend against. And Cody was just taking time to think about it, and Arn just nudged his arm, going, "What about that Warhorse kid?" I'll be honest, I have no idea who Warhorse was. I don't pay attention to the indies. There's names I've heard a lot, but Warhorse, as far as I know, he hasn't really been on anything big. I mean, if anyone wants to correct me, go right ahead. If you hear this, hit me up on Twitter or something and just correct me. Like, what has he been on? Like, what independent wrestling companies or wherever has he been on? So, Warhorse comes out looking like Ultimate Warrior. Pretty much like Ultimate Warrior. Like, literally like Ultimate Warrior. Never seen him before, so I thought the gimmick was interesting. It's very much cartoony. It's very 1980s wrestling. It's very much that. But he can actually work. He goes out there and he works. He looked to be very much on par with Cody. I mean, you knew Cody was going to win. There was no doubt about that. I mean, if Cody's going to drop this title to anyone, it's going to be somebody of value in AEW. He's probably going to hold on it for a while just so they can add a little bit more prestige to it to take it seriously. Which I'll give AEW credit, is they want the titles to mean something. They don't just want to keep flip-flopping these titles and make them look like props. They actually want these titles to have some merit to them, which I'll give them that. They just need better people holding them. We'll get to Moxley in a bit. So yeah, the match was very solid back and forth action. You had Warhorse getting some good hits out there. Cody letting Warhorse just really take it over, get his shit in. In the end, Cody makes Warhorse tap with a submission hold, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, because for a submissions are different, because if he had just beat him cleanly with his move, like, it would have really kind of sullied Warhorse, because it would have been like, oh, any move can take him down. In the match, the point was, Warhorse had a hurt leg, so Cody, decided to take advantage of that and go after that leg, to the point where he finally had him where he wanted him and he made him submit. So I don't necessarily have a problem with submissions. I don't. So the match, Cody wins the match. The match was pretty good. Warhorse, not necessarily ready for prime time. for TV. He needs to get signed by somebody, though. But he still has a lot of work to do, because this is a gimmick that people need to get used to a lot more, because people are more used to the serious wrestling. I mean, yeah, people that do love the Young Bucks and Omega, and they love that cartoon wrestling and whatever the fuck you want to call it. But they see a guy like Warhorse. I don't know how to explain it. Like, they see Kenny Omega and they say he's a serious wrestler, but yet he does a lot of dumb shit. Warhorse is a throwback to, 80s wrestling. And they're going to say, oh, that's a goofy gimmick. We don't want that here. I'm interested to see what Jim Cornette has to say about it. I imagine he's not going to take too kindly to the gimmick. But, well, yeah, Warhorse, I don't know who he's signed to. I can't imagine he's really signed to anybody right now. But AEW could probably be the best fit for him. I don't know if WWE will sign him. I don't really think they will. At this moment, I don't really think they need anyone, because it looks like the NXT roster is pretty stacked. So, the next match... Oh yeah, after the match, the Dark Order come out and attack Warhorse, and then go after Cody. And then the debut of Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder, looking swole as fuck, coming out and taking out the Dark Order, saving Cody, who's those two are actually good friends and are actually legit close friends. So now Matt Cardona is officially part of AEW, which, I mean, it is what it is. Because he sure as shit wasn't going to go to Impact with Bryan. Because I guess when you look at the two, it's going to be kind of difficult to not call him Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona has a little bit more of a name value, and I say it with quotation marks around name value, because once upon a time Zack Ryder was actually over. Once upon a time. For a very short period of time until they fucked that up. So he has name value. He has... He definitely has charisma. He has a personality. And he has a good look to him. I mean, and for all accounts and purposes, Matt Cardona's a good guy. Sorry, my voice just broke like I'm just now discovered puberty. Good guy. But I mean, we'll see where this goes. I know me and Rob from Wrestling Court were talking about it. He said, he was in WWE for too long. Now he's a chance to prove himself. And I just, was kind of being a dick. I was like, just please stop. But I mean, for all we know, maybe this could be his chance to really shine. I mean, because again, he was in WWE for too long. So maybe this could be his chance to really do something different with the gimmick. Or not even really a gimmick, because he obviously can't be Zack Ryder. He can't be Long Island IC. He can't be anything that resembles what he used to be. So, and honestly, I don't even think he wants to do that anymore. Because, I mean, that gimmick was 8 years ago. It was like 8 or 9 years ago. So, I imagine he's going to want to do something different. Kind of like with Matt Hardy. He doesn't want to do gimmicks anymore, supposedly. So, we'll see what Matt Cardona is made of in AEW. I want to give it a chance, because I actually like the guy. And then they announced the next week is going to be the debut of Matt Cardona tagging with Cody against the Dark Order, I believe. Speaking of Dark Order, you had Kenny and Omega. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Dark Order. AEW Tag Team Championship match. I'll be honest. I had both shows on. I was watching NXT on the big screen, and I had AEW on my tablet, because I was trying to pay attention to both shows at the same time. I was not really paying attention to this match. I had no interest in this match. Someone told me, and I'm not really going to say who they are, because I'm not trying to start a war with anyone, that the AEW Tag Team Championships are their most quote-unquote sought-after tag team titles in the business. Okay, well, this match didn't prove that to me. Omega and Page as a tag team, I don't have a problem with. I mean, if any, Omega with Page makes them a little bit more bearable. Probably because I just like Adam Page a lot more. But we're just waiting for that eventual heel turn for heel Kenny Omega versus Adam Page, which Adam Page, as soon as he possibly can, needs to break away from this tag team, because he is the diamond in the rough for AEW. He is the guy who should be in the main event. He is the AEW champion. He has the look, he has the talent, he has the charisma. So, fuck! I just dropped my phone. We'll skip to the end of the match. Page and Omega defeat the Dark Order. Blah blah blah. Anything involving the Dark Order, I tend to fast forward. I don't care. I really don't care. It's just how much of a flop as I'm going to call him Luke Harper, Brody Lee been, because this is a guy who was in WWE for so long that we're like, this is a guy that should be bigger than he already is. Maybe not main event of WrestleMania big, but he should be in more high profile, feuds, matches, because the guy can talk, the guy can work. Shows up to AEW the first day, out of shape, doesn't really work. I mean, can't really work in the ring as he used to, and he's given this death gimmick, literal death gimmick. It's bad, and he goes out act like Vince McMahon, and then he claims that he doesn't act like Vince McMahon. It's like, come on, we know you're Vince McMahon. So you got Hikaru Shida versus Diamante for the was it for the AEW championship? I to be honest, I had the volume down, so I couldn't hear. Just The match was what it was. It didn't light the world on fire. It looked like it was going to be interesting, but it just really wasn't. It fell flat. Shida, I think, is very good. I mean, but she still has a lot of work to do. Diamante, I don't know a lot about her. Just two very green girls. That's just the one thing we can't say enough about, is that the women's division in AEW it's just not very good. It needs something. It needs a boost. Tessa Blanchard maybe, but for all intents and purposes, Tessa Blanchard's going to want to go to the WWE because she has confidence about herself that she's a star, and the WWE will make her into a star. So, I mean, maybe she'll go to AEW to be with her dad, but I mean, her going to AEW would definitely boost her that women's division. But if any, she's going to go to AEW. I mean, not AEW, WWE. MJF giving his best impression of Jim Cornette in his State of the Industry address. Wow. He comes out basically doing his own presidential debate, saying MJF for 2020, referring to Jon Moxley as #NotMyChampion. He says that he's not a very good champion. Saying, the only reason why he was ever anything, or he thinks he's anything, was because he came from the WWE, land of Titans. And here's where the whole Jim Cornette joke came about, is where he accused Jon Moxley of cosplaying as Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he didn't come out saying Stone Cold right off the bat, but he said he's cosplaying as a former, champion or former, top guy, and that's a Stone Cold fact. And I say that because, Jim Cornette on his podcast referred to Jon Moxley as cosplay Stone Cold. So it's pretty if I had to guess, I would say MJF listens to Jim Cornette's podcast, and also helps that Cornette puts him over. There's a lot of yelling in the living room. Okay, never mind. He said he will not stop until he returns to AEW, to this pinnacle of sports entertainment. And he challenges Moxley for his title at All Out, which, when is All Out? Hold on, let me look that up. When is All Out 2020? I'm definitely ordering that. All Out is September 5th, 2020. Oh, so I'm going to order that. I'm going to order that paper. So, anyways. So where were we? Oh, yeah. I mean, what else can we say about MJF other than the fact that best stalker in the business, best heel in the business. The guy just gets it. He's a guy that is benefiting more from being in AEW because if he were in NXT, I think he would be fine. I think he will be put on a bigger spotlight because I joked with this with somebody. I think it was Ruben Prime when I had it on my show, where I said, "There's gonna like Triple H has to see a guy like MJF and just go, ugh, if only. Like we need this guy in our company." He's a guy that would benefit more from being in NXT. You put him on the main roster, they would fuck him up. They would fuck him up in a heartbeat because they would write his promos for him. So I think he's better in AEW. He makes AEW bearable. And he also pointed out the fact that he hasn't really been on TV that much, that he's just been sitting on the sidelines, with the bench warmers. And that's just one thing I don't get about AEW is that MJF is the guy. He is their guy. If you're going to do something with him already, you might as well just do it. Don't just, I don't mean to be vulgar. Don't just, play with their tits. Go right for the dick. Just like jack me off already. Like that's MJF. If you're already gonna, play with MJF's tits, you might as well just jack him off already. Hi mom. My mom seldomly listens to the show. But yeah, just make MJF the guy. He's already the guy. He's already ready. He's proven that he's ready. Him in the ring is one thing, but I mean, he's not that bad in the ring. I know Andrew Carlick likes to say he's the shits. I don't think he's that bad, honestly. I mean, and also, I think his character kind of makes up for that. Because when you look back on it, was Austin really that good in the ring? No, his character was so larger than life, The Rock was so larger than life, and he was okay in the ring, but he was just a very athletic guy. His character made up for it. MJF is okay in the ring, but his character makes up for it. He has this larger than life character. So with Moxley, and what's the next segment? Or what was the next segment? You motherfucker. It's Moxley gave a promo. And I guess we'll delve into Moxley. What has Moxley done in AEW that's really so much different than when he was Dean Ambrose in WWE? There really is no difference. Because I put it on Twitter, I had the volume, muted on my tablet while I was watching AEW and NXT at the same time because I had NXT on the big screen. And, I saw that Moxley was given a promo in his V-neck white shirt holding the title while he's supposed to be in a scummy looking area backstage. Yeah, because that's what scumbags wear. They wear V-neck shirts. Whatever. And I just put it on Twitter. I'm like, I have the volume down, but I'm already going to guess he's giving a watered-down Dean Ambrose promo. Am I far off? And Jeff Lippman, shout out to Jeff Lippman. He said, yeah, you're pretty much right. He just talks about Darby Allin and Brian Cage and blah, blah, blah. It's just Jon Moxley. I don't want to compare him to Brody Lee, because at least Jon Moxley has done something. I mean, I don't hate the guy at all. I don't hate him at all. But he hasn't really done anything that makes me go, oh, that's not Dean Ambrose, that's Jon Moxley. Like, what has he done that's so different from Dean Ambrose? Nothing. He's basically just Dean Ambrose light. He's cosplay Stone Cold. That's the best way you can describe Jon Moxley. He is cosplay Stone Cold. He is Dean Ambrose. Pretty much. He is Dean Ambrose with fake barbed wire. That's probably the best way I can describe him. He is Dean Ambrose with fake barbed wire. There is nothing different about him at all. There really isn't. So you have the main event, which is a tornado tag. again, I had a hard time paying attention because, again, I think NXT was just the better show this week. But you can call me a WWE cocksucker all you want. I really don't care. But, and I don't care for Darby Allin at all. I really don't. I hate him. Darby Allin doesn't come out in the beginning of the match, so Moxley ends up fighting Ricky Starks, who I like, and Brian Cage, who I was starting to like, but now I'm kind of solely on him. So, and eventually Darby Allin comes out and makes the save. Allin and Moxley get the win, and then it's announced that next week Allin will face Moxley for the AEW World Championship. So there's that. All right. That was AEW for you. Let's see. Let's go to NXT. NXT. I was saying a lot of these matches just seem very conveniently placed against each other because AEW began with a tag team match, a 10-man tag match. This was a simple 2-on-2. Sorry about that. A simple 2-on-2 tag match with Tegan Nox and Io Shirai, the NXT Women's Champion, versus Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae. The match began pretty hot. You had whatchamacallit. Yeah, Io Shirai, she made her entrance, and then Dakota Kai knocked her out. I'm hitting puberty again. Dakota Kai knocked her out, and then LeRae joined in on the fight. I sound like that guy from The Simpsons. That squeaky voice scene. Mr. Simpson. This is what happens when I have no friends. So the match began pretty hot. It was a hot beginning. Not a bad match. It was a little. There was some sloppiness to it, but it wasn't too bad. Overall, good match. How good is Shirai, by the way? Like Shirai, it's not that she's become good because she's the champion. She was always good. She's the hot commodity right now. She is women's wrestling. That's probably the best way I would have to think about it. Here's one little nitpicky problem I have, is that I get that she has to be a face. I would say make her more of a badass babyface. Not to say she isn't badass, but I liked her character when she was kind of the, snobby Japanese girl that would look down on people, and she was kind of nuts. But now she's, happy and smiling, which, again, it is what it is, but I preferred that character. Tegan Nox, getting a little better in the ring. She's very much improving, and I like Tegan Nox. I used to love her, but now she's playing for the other team. It's okay, I can move on. I'm strong. Like the Viet Cong. I'm an idiot. This is what happens when I record at 11:40 p.m. Central Time. Dakota Kai looking pretty good in the ring. Minus Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know where she's been. And who was the other chick in the ring? It was Candice LeRae, which I honestly could not give two shits about anymore. I mean, not that I ever really cared about her to begin with. I just don't care for her. Don't care for her or Gargano anymore. Like they're just they do nothing for me. They add nothing and they do nothing, in my opinion. But yeah, the match was pretty good. The match was a lot better than The match was a lot better than the 10-man. That's for damn sure. Give me 1 second to get a little sip of my drink. So what do we got next? You got Gargano versus Roderick Strong. I had my feelings going into this match. I thought the match was pretty good. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was terrible, but I thought it was pretty good because you have two guys that can actually work. I said before I'm not a fan of Gargano as much as I used to. But he brought it. I mean, not to say he never does bring it. He does nothing for me. Roderick Strong, I started to he started growing me for a little bit because, again, another guy kind of like a Gargano who just adds nothing. But being in the Undisputed Era, I think, has really helped him get to that next echelon. Like, it's helped him develop a character. Like, he has a personality. I mean, sometimes they do a lot of that goofy shit where, you know, him and Dexter Lumis, where he had to go to therapy and Kyle O'Reilly was the therapist and they didn't know he was a therapist and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the match is pretty good. Speaking of Kyle O'Reilly's back. But we'll segue to that pretty soon. You got Shotzi Blackheart versus Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez representing the Robert Stone brand, which I gotta admit, I don't know about that, because Mercedes Martinez, her whole thing is that she's this serious, you know, kick-ass heel, and then, you know, the Robert Stone brand is like kind of like this goofy, you know, comedy shtick. So, I mean, maybe it'll work for her. Maybe it's something that can balance her, where it's like, you know, I'm here to fight. If I'm not getting what I want out of this, I'm going to kick the shit out of you and her. So I don't know. Maybe it can work. I know Kevin Castle was talking about it, like he actually does like the brand. So it's not bad. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give it a lot more. Give it a more serious look. Obviously, they want it to be taken more seriously. You know, adding Mercedes Martinez. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, she beats Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi Blackheart, they really think a lot of. So and I like her. She has a good gimmick. It seems like a gimmick that works for kids, because the kids see, you know, the green hair and they see like the helmet she wears, which is something they're obviously gonna sell when she gets to the main roster. They're bringing this out now, or tanks. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start selling tanks. You know, those specific tanks. So like tank keychains or actual tanks. So. But yeah, it seems like a gimmick that is for kids. So, Keith Lee responds to Karrion Kross. This was the best the best promo that I think Keith Lee has ever cut. Granted, I've never watched his indie stuff. I didn't watch him in RCW, which is here in San Antonio. I haven't watched him anywhere else. In Evolve. So far in NXT, this is the best gimmick I've seen him cut, because the one problem that seems to be with Keith Lee is promos. And it's not the fact that he's bad on promos, is that he seems like a guy that you could throw piss on his face and he'll be like, you know, shit happens. He doesn't seem like a guy that gets angry that much. This was good because he came out pissed off. His voice was different. He came out and just said pretty much, you know, Karrion Kross, you know, I'm getting tired of your bullshit. And he said bullshit twice, which, you know, I imagine that cost the company a pretty penny, even though it was a planned thing. Which, that's another thing, is that they need, besides blood, you know, and I'm not saying it has to be an all-day thing. I'm not saying Adam Cole needs to come on and be like, "Yay, fuck everybody, suck my cock." Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they should allow these guys to cuss as like a natural human thing. Like, don't give scripted promos, but like from what I heard, Triple H will give them bullet points. Like, he'll say, "You're gonna talk about A, B, and C, and you're gonna find a way to get to D. Everything else you need to figure out on your own." So these are the topics of discussion. These is your thesis. You need to find a way to get to the conclusion. And everything else, figure it out on your own. You know, and that should be a thing. Like, you know, if I cuss maybe once or twice, bleep it out. It's fine. Like, cussing is a part of human nature. You never hear a grown ass man say, you know, "Hey, you're a big jerk, and I'm gonna kick your butt." Like, no, you say, "Hey, motherfucker, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." So I don't know if they can get away with saying motherfucker, but bullshit is. And let's just be real, shit isn't really not even that bad of a word. I mean, they say shit on AEW. So, WWE likes to pretend they're still a family company, but I don't know. Bullshit is really not that bad of a word once you think about it. I mean, didn't Abraham Lincoln say horse shit? That's another thing you can use. Horse shit. Like, horse shit. Or, I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, let's get back. The promo is very good. This is the best promo I've seen Keith Lee cut because he was actually angry. He actually felt, rage and emotion. He told, Karrion Kross, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm getting tired of your bullshit. Name the time, name the place. You want to fight? I'm going to whoop your ass. Who the fuck was that guy? Cameron Grimes comes out trying to make the promo about him, saying, you don't need to worry about those guys, you need to worry about me. And then not Karrion Kross, Keith Lee just beats the shit out of him. Half of the lights go out. And then you have Scarlett coming out looking fucking fine as hell. Oof. Someone needs to put an APB on her because she just looks too damn fine. Oof. Directing Lee's attention to the big screen, or the Jumbotron. The Titantron is what we call it. And it's Kross, finally cutting a promo because Kross can actually talk. He can actually cut good promos. He has a good look and he can work. He can also talk. So I want to see more of him. I want to hear more of him. I want to hear him give good promos. Because again, he can actually talk. Tells Kross, what happened last week was on your head. Because I can't really think of a guy who would allow his best friend to get beat up. But you know what I want? I want a shot at the NXT World Championship. Give me what I want, or there will be more like that to come. And then Keith Lee says, name the time and the place, and I'll whoop your ass. Later in the night, William Regal says, I will not be bullied into making decisions by Keith Lee or Kross. Championship opportunities are earned, not just given. But yet, he gave somebody a title shot next week. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Good promo, by the way. The whole Grimes thing I didn't really care for. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought if they just stuck to Scarlett coming out and just turning Lee's attention to the Titantron. So the Imperium versus the Not So Young Bucks. The Hill Country Young Bucks. And anyone that lives in San Antonio will get that reference. Squash match, just to solely get Imperium over. Before that, you had Adam Cole, come out in the back with the Undisputed Era, pretty much telling everybody, hey, we're in Undisputed Era, let's remind everybody who we are, we run NXT. After the match, Undisputed Era came out and attacked Imperium. So it sets up Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly to get their titles back. So again, kind of going with my point of these guys aren't allowed a title shot. But I mean, these Karrion Kross isn't allowed a title shot. He has to earn it, but yet you're giving these guys a title shot next week. So whatever, it is what it is. Even NXT can sometimes not pay attention to the rules. Next match, you had Isaiah Scott versus Jake Atlas. I thought the match was pretty good because I like both of these guys. I like Scott. I like Scott a lot more when I see him work because, again, another guy that has charisma, another guy that can actually go out there and work and make you care about what he does. Jake Atlas, another guy, can work, can go out there and perform. The Rainbow Warrior is what they call him, which I'm surprised that hasn't gotten any complaints. But yeah, these two can actually work. It was going on for quite a while because usually a lot of these cruiserweight matches they go for maybe about 10-12 minutes. This was going on for a while actually, so I was surprised on how long it went. But Swerve won. I like Swerve. I'm a fan of Swerve. I want to see him be put in more situations like this. I want to see him go after bigger opportunities than just, hey, I'm going to go out there and have a really good match. That's it. I want to see him have more opportunities. And he apparently wants to go after Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship. So, by the way, what happened to Jake Maverick? He has not been on the show for 2 weeks. I mean, wasn't he supposed to be like the hottest thing in NXT, and then he just kind of poof went away? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being impatient, but the main event was a triple threat match to determine who will be placed in the ladder match at TakeOver 30 for the now vacated North American Championship, the one that Bronson Reed won last week. And you had Finn Balor versus Dexter Lumis versus Timothy Thatcher. Again, another good match. You have three guys who work very different styles. You have Finn Balor, who's more of the mat-based wrestler, more of the all-around wrestler. Timothy Thatcher is the technical wrestler, and you have Dexter Lumis, who's I can't really label him on one thing, because here's the thing: he looks like he should be a brawler, but he goes out there doing bulldogs and submission holds. So I can't really pinpoint what his style is, but it's something. It's different. These three work pretty well. It was a lot better than last week's triple threat. I'll say that much. But these three worked a lot well. I went into this not knowing who was going to win, and I'm glad, because it looks like with this TakeOver 30, they want to give a lot of these newer guys, these fresher faces, more TV time. Because when you look at it, it looked like Finn Balor was a shoo-in to win this. And he didn't. We'll fast forward to the ending. Dexter Lumis wins. Dexter Lumis, what happened was Timothy Thatcher was going for a submission hold on Finn. Dexter Lumis sneaks up behind Thatcher and puts him in his submission hold, which is called the... What's it called? Oh, there's really not a move for it, but a name for it. But he chokes him out and wins, which, I was surprised about that, because if Finn wasn't going to win this, I was thinking Timothy Thatcher, because he looks like somebody they actually want to do something with. And I like Timothy Thatcher. I like the fact that he has, no front teeth, because that adds more to his character. It makes him look a little bit more psychotic. But I mean, they obviously like Dexter Lumis, which I don't hate Dexter Lumis. I actually like him. I'm glad that he won. I was surprised, because I didn't call him to win the match. Finn can wait to fight another day. I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to put him in this match. I'm pretty sure it'll be like a battle royal to see who will be the last spot. I'm pretty sure they'll put him in. But yeah, Dexter Lumis, I like him. I like the character. Here's my only takeaway, my only nitpicking, is that I really wish he would change his style. I mean, the whole submission thing, whatever. The whole choking out thing, it fits with his whole psychotic, character shtick. He needs to be more of a brawler, though, instead of going out there, bumping around for everybody, doing bulldogs, doing, red arrow twists. I'm just making up names for moves. I don't even know what the fuck that is, but that needs to be more of a style. You know what I mean? Since he's out there being this psychotic serial killer, he should be more of a brawler. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But yeah, Dexter Lumis will be in the TakeOver 30 ladder match to determine who will be the North American champion. And that was NXT. NXT, and again, I'm going to be called a WWE fanboy for this. NXT, I think, just had the better show. If you heard that, I'm scratching my nose with my microphone. I'm using the Tonor microphone. If anyone doesn't know, my Blue Yeti is kaputs. So, we'll go to the ratings. AEW won again this week. It was actually pretty close, though, because AEW Dynamite drew 773,000, while NXT drew 707,000. AEW ranked number 6 in the cable top 150, while NXT ranked number 28 and AEW ranked 57 in the viewership. NXT ranked 60 in viewership. Last week's AEW episode drew 845, so it's a pretty big drop. NXT drew 615, so they drew a lot this week. AEW drew a .30 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. See, there's that word, demographic. Well, NXT drew a .18 in the same demo this week. Last week's AEW show drew a .32 rating, blah, blah, blah. I guess if we want to get into what was on TV that night, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills topped the night in the 18 to 49 demographic on the cable top 150 with a .54 rating. With just 1.564 viewers, Hannity on Fox News topped the night on cable and viewership with 3.967 million viewers, ranking number 3 on the cable top 150 with .32 in the same demo. Based on overnight numbers, United We Fall on ABC topped the night on network TV and viewership with an average of 3.532 million viewers. That is something wrestling will never get again. United We Fall on Tough as Nails on CBS tied for the number 1 spot in the 18 to 49 demographic. Whew, that's a lot. So let me, because I did the math earlier, because I combined both ratings. So let me go to my handy dandy calculator. Come on. Okay, so... shit. Okay, so 707,000 plus 73,000. So 1,480,000 or 1,480,000. 1,480,000 people, or 1.48 million people, were watching wrestling on Wednesday. So, I mean, that's kind of something you can look forward to. That's kind of the upside on it, was that you had a lot more people watching wrestling this week, which is good, because wrestling is in no way where it used to be. It is not the hot commodity, and COVID does have a lot to do with it. We're not even gonna we're not trying to make excuses. We're also not trying to be oblivious to it. Is that COVID is, with no live crowds, wrestling it's tough to it's tough to watch for the viewers, and it's tough for the wrestlers actually in the ring. I mean, yeah, AEW I think handles it a lot better. Because they allow the guys to say, "Hey, go out there and be a natural," as opposed to NXT, where it's like you're gonna boo the bad guy and cheer the good guy. You're gonna wear their merch, and it looks like they're having fun, because there's always that one guy who just plays air guitar whenever anyone comes out. I think I've seen him on NXT before, but it's Boy Who Cried Wolf. Just wrestling needs fans. It needs live audiences, and we're not sure when that's going to happen. Hopefully it's soon. It's something that needs to happen. It's something that we need to get back to. That needs to, not just for wrestling, for sports, because sports in general needs fans. And yes, I know I'm a nerd. I'm calling wrestling a sport, but it needs fans. It needs, for us to really get invested, to really feel that energy. We need to feed off the energy of what we're watching, because we know Karrion Kross will be over as fuck with the actual fans. The people will be cheering for him. Keith Lee, he was already over as fuck. MJF, he would be over as fuck with the fans. Eddie Kingston would have got a huge reaction from the fans. So it's something I hope happens soon. Hopefully, you're always being hopeful. Hopefully before the end of the year. Hopefully we can have a Halloween. Hopefully we can have a Thanksgiving. Hopefully we can have a Christmas. I mean, I can't imagine Christmas being canceled because of COVID. I can't imagine Thanksgiving. If any, I would think Halloween would probably get canceled. So, but I miss actually seeing fans in attendance. And honestly, I think if that were to happen, I would cry. Like the first episode with live fans in attendance, I would probably shed a tear. And WWE would really take advantage of it. I mean, I can imagine WWE, as soon as they get the red light to bring in actual fans, Vince, I'm not saying I know him well, but just based off what I've seen, I'm pretty sure Vince would book the biggest show he can think of. Like he would say, all right, Barclays Center, Chicago, Madison Square Garden. And the first person out, I'm just going to book it, is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Have Stone Cold Steve Austin come out, get a big fucking reaction from the fans, drink some beer, do his whole, what? I had to deal with COVID. What? I wore my mask. What? That was a bad impression, by the way. And then proceed to just have a big show. That would probably get him a 4. That first show with live fans in attendance, they're going to pull all the stops, and that's going to get him a 4. As soon as they can get live fans back, NXT needs to really consider moving out of Full Sail. I've been saying that ad nauseum. AEW is doing the right thing. They're going into not so big markets and bringing in more fans. So that was both shows. Let's see what else I have on the docket. Rusev has said he's done with professional wrestling. He is done. Rusev's real name, Miroslav Barnyashev, said on his Twitch YouTube stream that he has moved on from the Squared Circle. During a Q&A session, Miro said he is enjoying what he's doing on Twitch, and there is no desire to step into the ring. I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm just enjoying my Twitch. I'm a professional Twitcher, YouTuber, content creator. Miro said, I'm not a wrestler anymore. Can I be your favorite streamer? As previously known, WWE's reached out to some released wrestlers about returning, but many were offered for less money than what they were making before. It is known that Rusev Miro received an offer to return. He said the following: I texted Vince. I haven't talked to him. I texted him. It was a nice conversation. On his YouTube, it's called To Be Miro TV. And what else can we talk? I mean, we're still talking about that because I saw he actually got banned on Twitch. This is on WrestleZone.com. Rusev banned from Twitch just days after becoming a full-time streamer. This is updated. Rusev has commented on the ban, and apparently only lasts one day. Miro will be back. I was too sexy for Twitch. I learned my lesson. See y'all tomorrow. And thanks to his YouTube listen, we might be able to say their narrative. We go. So why do you get banned? I'm trying to see what it is. Oh, because he shared a clip of him and Lana, and she was wearing a bikini, and it went against Twitch's code of conduct. So yeah, that's why he said he was too sexy. So, I mean, Twitch doing her, pretending that they have morals. Yeah, Rusev is done with wrestling. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bummed out because I was a Rusev fan. I would have loved to see him in AEW. I would have loved to see him in Impact. I thought he could have been interesting in Impact. Probably see him make a comeback to the WWE. But no, he's made it very clear he doesn't want to wrestle anymore. He's done wrestling, and you know what? Good for him. He's found something he's very passionate about, and hey, Twitch, you can make money off of that. Like, Twitch is money. YouTube is money. So, if Rusev wants to be the next big, content creator, more power to Rusev. Or Miro. I'm going, fuck, I'm just going to call him Rusev. I don't give a fuck. But, yeah, good for Rusev, man. Rusev Day is no more. What am I saying? Rusev Day is every day. So, I'm happy for Rusev. I wish him nothing but the best. That's all I got to say. And it's a good thing that his ban only lasts a day. So, more wrestling talk. Nic Aldis fires back at Bruce Prichard for recent negative comments. I mean, it's kind of a nothing burger. Prichard was on his Something to Wrestle With podcast with Conrad Thompson. And whatchamacallit? Somebody asked him why they never brought in Aldis to the WWE. Prichard said that Nic Aldis is talented, but he doesn't have the it factor that gets people to the next level. He said Aldis was a big fish in a small pond that comes across like he is playing wrestler, quote unquote. Let's see. And then Nic Aldis added that Prichard needs to keep his name out of his mouth. Nic Aldis on his Twitter, I don't need Bruce to be a fan of me or expect him to have kept up with my stuff, but because he hasn't. But if that's the case, just keep my name out of his mouth. Don't try to deliberately devalue someone and their ability to make a living. And Aldis appeared on Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM. Aldis says Prichard has exposed the fact that he hasn't been paying attention to what he's been up to in recent years. He also says Prichard was asleep during his stints with Impact and does not have a great track record when it comes to the viewership or television shows he's a part of. And that was a Bully Ray show, which he still has me blocked, by the way. And I didn't listen to that interview. I want to listen to it now because Kevin Castle was talking about it on a show the other night. I was talking about on KNC Chronicles, where he said all this pretty much, he's not the type of guy that's going to take this line down. He's not going to be the guy that just goes, hey, you know what? It is what it is. I'm not getting into a war of words. It's not like AJ Styles, or AJ Styles pretty much just says, you know what? I don't care for Punk. I'm not going to talk about him because I don't respect him. I'm not going to waste my time. All this is pretty much just like, no, fuck that guy. Bruce Prichard, just to me, just what I've seen, he just comes off as an asshole. He comes off as a cocky idiot, thinking that he knows everything about wrestling, that his ideas work. You look at him as, the director of, creative or whatever the fuck he is. Look how bad the ratings are. And look how bad the pay-per-views are. So his ideas work, huh? I mean, granted, it's been speculated that he might have just been talking about... Maybe he hasn't seen Aldis in NWA, but you know what? Maybe he has, or maybe he doesn't think of it as his NWA, because Bruce Prichard is such an old school guy. I mean, Aldis, to me, is one of the top prospects in wrestling right now. I'm surprised the guy hasn't tried to go out and get other work. I'm surprised the guy hasn't appeared on AEW or New Japan or worked out some stints in Impact. He's pretty much getting paid to do nothing. Like, ever since Dave Lagana got, fired, he's pretty much been the second in command. So, I mean, good for Aldis. I liked him before, I like him even now. Because he pretty much just said, no, fuck that guy. Fuck him. For Prichard to say that is just dumb, because he works in the same company as his wife. And from what I heard, Mickie James is pissed off at this too. I mean, Prichard makes comments about Ultimate Warrior, and he has to see his wife every day. So you really should just keep your mouth shut about shit like this. If you know you have to run into somebody's spouse or a family member in general that works for the company, just keep your mouth shut. I mean, I think if he had just said, let me try and think of the words. If he had said, well, at the time, we didn't see him as a hot commodity. At the time, when he was Magnus, we didn't see him as anything that we were interested in. But no, he just basically bashed the guy's, body of work, which is idiotic. And again, kudos to Aldis for sticking up for himself. And he said straight up, like, I want my son to see that I don't back down from anyone. I want him to take this as a lesson. Don't just take shit from people and just like walk away from it. No, you need to act on it head on. So, good for Aldis. And fuck Bruce Prichard. What's some other news? I think as far as wrestling news, that's all we have. You have... Well, this was announced today. This is kind of like non-wrestling news. Splinter Cell will be getting a TV series on Netflix. It'll be an animated show, though. It will be done by the writer of John Wick. So I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy we're getting a Splinter Cell show. It seems like something that should be more of a show than an actual movie. But it's an animated show. I don't know how I feel about that. It's because it was technically already animated. I mean, it was a video game. So I mean, they should really make it live action. Kind of like what Last of Us. The Last of Us decided to make a show on HBO, and it's live action. Why can't this be live action? I don't get it. But pretty stoked about that because I like the games. I love the first game. Second game was really good. Third game was okay. But the other games are okay. But the first two games I thought were, as far as like video games go, those are the pinnacle of story-based games. Because these games are actually based off of books. They're based off of Tom Clancy novels, and it was the first time you really played a game where it told a story, where it wasn't just you have to save the world because a bomb's going to go off, which that's kind of what happened. But it told a story. It had good acting. Michael Ironside, the older generation, they think of him, they think of something else. They think of Scanners. They think of shows that he was on. They think of was I going to say Marathon Man? Was that Marathon Man or fuck. No, Total Recall. There you go. When I think of Michael Ironside, I think of Sam Fisher. So, but yeah, that's pretty much everything. That's pretty much the whole show tonight. Shout outs to Wrestling Soup. They had a show tonight. I missed it. I was kind of busy during the day. I went to go see my mom. If you guys follow me on social media, my mom had an accident on Sunday. She was at my brother's house, and she was helping him get something out of his garage, and she just literally fell and hit her head. And she was wearing her glasses too, and she got cut pretty bad. She's okay. She's fine. She had to get 14 stitches above her right eye, though, and it's pretty grody. It looks like she just got out of a death match with Nick Gage. So, but my mom's a trooper. She's a tough lady, so she's gonna be fine. But yeah, I love my mom, by the way, and it just sucks because this is a day after her birthday, so it's like, happy birthday. Here's a concussion. Yeah, I love my mom. I'm glad it wasn't anything worse. When you get that phone call saying call me ASAP from your brother, you're just like, please tell me no one's in the hospital. And as bad as it sounds, I'm glad it was just she hit her head and not she. I don't even want to think about it, but the point is that she's okay. She was able to go home on the same day, so I'm glad my mom's alright. I'm glad for all the well wishes from everybody that said, I hope your mom's okay. But yeah, Wrestling Soup, John Draper, Kevin, and Joe Numbers, head on over to their Patreon just for $5. Their show is every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Don, Tony, Kevin Castle show. Their show is every Monday after Raw. Go to their Patreon just for $5. You can get shows like K&T Chronicles with Kevin and our good friend Trez. You got the Texas Podcast Massacre. If you're a horror fan, this will tickle that horror funny bone of yours. That didn't make any sense. You got Wrestling Court with Julian and Rob, which is every Wednesday. I believe they didn't have a show this week. If you're a fan of serial killers, like just serial killers in general, Demented and Unusual podcast you can find on Spotify. It's done by my friend Relly, good friend of mine. Listen to her podcast. Another podcast I want to put over is what the fuck? Come on. I hope I'm saying this right. Brother Monty broadcast. Oh fuck! I just clicked off of it. God damn it. Go to podcast. Well, I'm trying to. What the fuck? Wow, this shit is just not letting me look at anything. So yeah, Brother Monty podcast. It's one of my followers, the Brooklyn Savage, little RJ Unlimited, or at little RJ Unlimited. I think they just started. I think that was like their second episode. So good podcast, by the way. Listen to it. It's very Wrestling Soup-ish, as kind of like shades of Wrestling Soup in it. So if you like Wrestling Soup, you're gonna enjoy these guys. Great guys. Show some love to them, by the way. Show some love. Go to Spotify. If you go to his Twitter, little RJ Unlimited, you can find the show. He already has it posted. So show some love to that show. Show some love to everybody. And other podcasts. Yeah, Brian J with wrestling and horror reanimated. So he does what if scenarios for wrestling, which I was a part of, which we're going to be a part of soon. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen soon. And then horror reanimated, where he talks about horror, like what if scenarios for horror. And False Count Radio with Andrew Carlick. And who else? And that's really about it. I mean, if I'm forgetting anyone's show, I'm really sorry. There's a shit ton of shows. Support everyone's podcast. If you're a fan of something, there's going to be a podcast for you. So, but I'll be back next week, same time. The show's not live anymore, but I'll be back next week, same day, same podcast. Social media, you got social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, The Drew Yari Show. And then you can find me on Spreaker, pretty much everywhere that podcasts are put out, like Google Podcasts and iTunes. Also YouTube, if you listen to podcasts on YouTube. I also stream video games on there from time to time. I'm currently playing Ghost of Tsushima, which is a fucking amazing game. Overall, great game, by the way. I highly suggest it to anyone who's interested in playing it. But yeah, that's the show. That is pretty much the show for tonight. And appreciate the love, appreciate the shares, appreciate the likes, the downloads, the subscribes, the follows. And take care, guys. Laters.